Hi, welcome to lessonswithtroy.com. I'm Troy Brenningmeyer. Well, this lesson is going to be C6 Lap Steel Basics, Volume Number 8, Part B, and we're still working with slow country backup, getting pedal steel sounds out of the C6 lap steel. So tuned C, E, G, A, C, E from your 6th through your 1st string, lowest to highest string. This lesson, though, is going to be much more technical than Part A. So this is Part B. If you're ready, go ahead and print out your tablature, and I'll explain some things here as we get started. So this first little part is a harmonized G major scale harmonized in sixths, and both major and minor sixth. And what I've got written above it are the chords in the key of G with the numbers. So each part of that chord you can kind of memorize, like say that first part, the 7 on your 5th string, 7 on your 2nd string, works great over a G. But then when you move to your 5th fret, 4th string and 1st string, that particular harmonized part of that scale works great over a D7 chord. And so above that I've got written, what each part of that scale will work great over as far as in the key of G. And that's really cool because when you're using that jam track, and it's the same jam track we worked in Part A, you can use that to understand as the chords move what part of that scale you can use over which chord. And this is all in the key of G, which is real useful in country, but everything I show you today is totally movable, so you can move in and out of different keys. But I suggest to get the key of G down really well and understand these shapes and how they relate to each other, and that'll really help you when you're moving in and out of other keys to have one key solid underneath your belt. So go ahead and print out. We got 3 pages of tablature, lots of stuff to learn. Let's jump right on into C6 Lap Steel Basics, Volume Number 8, Part B, Slow Country Backup, Pedal Steel Sounds for the C6 Lap Steel. Let's get going. Okay, so the first section we're going to work on is just simply measures 1 and 2 of your tablature. It's a G major scale harmonized in what's called sixth. Now they're major and minor sixth, but I don't worry so much about that, whether it's a major sixth or a minor sixth. If you're doing ear training, that might help you to distinguish the exact interval. But I think of the sixth more as the shape, the way it looks when I grab it. Okay, where I'm grabbing this 5th string and 2nd string, right? I'm grabbing 2 strings at the same time with 2 strings that I'm not playing in between them. Same thing when I go up to my next grouping of strings where I play my 4th string and my 1st string. I play those with 2 strings in between them. Now it could be a straight bar or it could be a reverse slant like that, and we mentioned this in Part A. But basically what that looks like is you slant your bar. Now, there's a couple ways to do it. You could grab your bar like this with your thumb on the end and your middle finger on an end and get it like that. And it's a lot easier to see your frets. But to me, it's a little hard for me to do that when the slants are happening fast. To really get to that slant like that fast. So sometimes I just twist my wrist back like that. So as we're learning this harmonized major scale, you'll be seeing me slant my bar doing these reverse slants. And then sometimes if we stick on the 5th string and 2nd string, I may be doing forward slants where I push the bar under my fingers like that. Okay, so once again, I'll just be twisting my wrist like that. And let's go ahead and learn this scale. Now you could play this, you could play them together, obviously, like it's written, or you could stagger them, thumb to middle or middle to thumb. Doesn't matter. What's most important is that interval, making sure you're in tune. And making sure that you look above that in the tab too, and what these intervals, these notes will work, what chords they'll work with. So when you're playing along with that jam track or jamming along to somebody else or wanting to play backup, you can understand the scale and exactly what chords each part of this scale can work over. So what gives it this kind of pedal steel sound is if you use that volume pedal, if you've got one. If not, don't worry about it. It's not the end of the world. But as you play each one of these, you could do just a slight swell. And I really like these intervals, the intervals of a sixth. I think it really gives it a cool sound, kind of a cool pedal steel sound. Now you could slide into any of these if you wanted to. Okay, and we'll get into slides and sliding into chord positions and things like that a little bit later. Let me show you the scale for right now. Okay, we start off on our 5th string and 2nd string, 7th fret. I have to make sure you work on your vibrato too. Nice, mellow, relaxed vibrato. There's all kinds of styles of vibrato. This is my particular one that I'm using, where I kind of put a little space in between my middle finger and ring finger on my left hand. Just kind of move my bar back and forth. But some people kind of take their thumb off and roll it. Let me show you what that looks like without like that. And also if you're using a round bar, that you might use a little bit different technique than me. I'm using a bar that I use when I play dobro. So this is how I'm going to use my vibrato. Okay, now we're going to change up string sets here. We're going to move up to our 4th string and 1st string and move back to our 5th fret. Now, some other technical things to keep in mind is in between each part of this scale, if you want to mute out, to keep it smooth, don't let your bar off the strings. As a general rule, I'm just going to use palm blocking the heel of my hand back here in front of the bridge. Just roll it back anytime I want to mute out. And a lot of times I do that right before I pluck. So there, mute, pluck. So I just roll my wrist back. And that's what's called palm blocking. If you wanted to do pick blocking, you can grab them with your picks. Now I just prefer palm blocking. Seems to work really nice for me. Okay, so 7th fret, 5th and 2nd string. Okay, move up to your 4th and 1st string, 5th fret. Muting out in between each one, 7th fret, 4th string, 1st string. Mute. Now do a reverse slant there on your 8th fret, 1st string, 9th fret, 4th string. Just use your ear, and a lot of times sliding into it will really help your ear too, because you'll hear where this is in tune because you know it's straight. Put some nice vibrato on it. 8th and 9th fret, 10th and 11th fret. Okay, 12th fret, straight bar, 14th fret, straight bar, and 15th and 16th fret. Now, if you want to practice with your volume pedal, getting more of a pedal steel kind of sound, on each one, do just a slight swell. I'm just barely bringing my volume pedal back, just barely off the ground there. And you can play it backwards. And this is, playing it backwards is basically measures 3 and 4 of your tablature. 15 and 16 with that reverse slant. 14 with a straight bar. 12 with a straight bar. 10 and 11, straight bar. 10 and 11 reverse slant there. 8 and 9 reverse slant. 7 straight bar. 5 and 7 on your 5th and 2nd string then. Now let me show you something else too. If you wanted to keep it all on your 1st and 4th string, what you can do, and I don't have this written in the tablature, but you can do, instead of this, where you're playing on your 7th fret, 5th string and 2nd string, you can get the same thing on with using a reverse slant on your 1st string, 3rd fret, and 4th string, 4th fret. And that works out real nice because that very first little jump of the scale, you can go from a slant to a straight bar, put the volume pedal in there, and it sounds like this. Try it again. So just experiment with the volume pedal, but be cognizant of the fact that if you always do just huge swells, like I think it loses some of its effect. You know, I really like to hear the attack sometimes, unless I specifically don't want to hear the attack. Then I'll, you know, pluck it with it all the way down, so it kind of totally omits the attack of the note, and you just kind of swell into the note. Be like that, as opposed to. Okay, so just keep in mind, if you want to do it all in the same strings, substitute this 7th fret, 5th string, 2nd string with 3rd reverse slant on your 3rd fret, 1st string, 4th fret, 4th string. Okay, so there's one way of playing the major scale. And keep in mind too, what I've got written above there, this first one works over a G chord. Sounds nice over your 1 chord or G chord. As you play here on the scale, that sounds great over your 5 chord or your D7 chord in the key of G. And then back to 7th fret, sounds great over a G chord. This 8th and 9th will sound good over a C. And C also, you can use that substitute for a D7 chord. Too, some of those notes work great over D7 chord. And then 10 and 11 will work over your D chord. Move up to your 12th fret, a straight bar. That works over C. 14th fret works over D. And then you're back to your 1 chord with that reverse slant. Play it backwards. So just pay attention to those chords that's written there, and that'll help you. Okay, let's learn another way of playing this major scale, harmonizing 6th.